Hello everyone, and thanks for joining me today. I am Gergely, your Retail Education Manager from the L&D team, and I'm joined by Amy Cooper from Inspiro, and we are here to talk all things apprenticeships. Amy, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today.
No, thank you for inviting me and looking forward to having a good chat about friendships.
Well, of course. Well, I guess the first question is, please tell us a little bit about Inspiro. What is it that you do? And I guess, how have you been working with the perfume shop?
Yeah, so Inspiro Learning, we're one of the largest training providers in the UK. We work with a lot of household names like the perfume shop, and we deliver apprenticeships in retail, hospitality, the care sector, early years, as well as engineering, automotive, and railway. So we're quite a diverse training provider, which we're quite proud of.
Wow, I mean, that sounds quite broad, which is
Yes.
very exciting. And what's your role? What is it that you do?
So I'm a national account manager, so I partner with yourselves at the perfume shop. I help with the rollout, the facilitate the apprenticeships, making sure that any of the team members that come onto an apprenticeship with the perfume shop are assigned a dedicated trainer, making sure that their learning journey is at high standard and that at the end they achieve all of their goals expected from the apprenticeship.
So all of the back house support from start to finish to make sure that every learner has a good experience.
That's it, yeah.
And how long have you now worked with the perfume shop?
Oh, I think it's nearly over 6 years. Yeah, 6 years, I think now we've been in partnership with the perfume shop, and we're really proud that it's a long-standing partnership and that we've supported many team members through various apprenticeships with yourself.
Absolutely. It's certainly a very exciting collaboration. Now, for those who don't know much about apprenticeships, can you please explain what a store apprenticeship is in very simple, easy to understand terms?
Yeah. So an apprenticeship is a job you have that you work in an actual store. There's no scenario based. It's a real functioning store. So, for example, the retail, you earn money while you learn. You gain hands-on experience. Plus, you get learning sessions with your Inspiro coach. So you get all the classroom kind of learning, but it's in a actual real life work setting. And what you get to do is apply that learning to customer service, to stocks, to sales, operations, leadership. You kind of get to put that into a real life situation. So essentially, you're learning and earning as well as having a job.
Which sounds like a great way to gain a qualification and still earn whilst you're doing it.
That's right.
So what are some of the apprenticeships that are available for our store teams at the moment?
We deliver retail apprenticeships from level 2 all the way up to level 4, and as well as management from level 3 to level 5. So a level 2 is as an equivalent to a GCSE, and then when we say a level 3 is equivalent to A levels, level 4 is a HNC level, and then a level 5 is equivalent to a degree. So they are the apprenticeships that we deliver in store.
And in terms of those different levels, are they matched with any job roles that we have in terms of how does that all work?
So we would work with so if we have an applicant come through, a team member who wants to do an apprenticeship, we will look at their job role. So if they were a team leader or a manager, we will be looking at one of the leadership programs, and we would do skill scans to assess what skills that they currently have and what skills can we teach them. And from that, we will devise the best program that's going to give them all the extra learning to allow them to achieve their development goal, whether that is to become a better manager, a better team leader, or to maybe look at furthering their career within the perfume shop to become a store manager or a regional manager. So it's all about the job you're currently doing, what your current skill set is, and where your future goals are, and making sure that we can cover the criteria within the apprenticeship through your job role.
Fabulous. And how long does a program usually take? Is it different for different levels?
Yeah, so most programs are between 12 to 14 months. You have got an option to complete sooner, but that's on an individual basis. We would look at your current skill set and if that can be completed um, within a certain time frame. But on average, it's 12 to 14 months. The bigger qualifications, such as the level fours, the level fives, you tend to have 14 months, and the level five, you're looking at 18 months, just because of the academic content that's built within those programs. They require more study time, more guided learning. So for that, we have to have a longer length of program. But on average, you're looking at 2 to 4 months. And then built on top of that, you have time for endpoint assessment. So you have a learning stage, very much like learning to drive. You have your driving instructor, we're your driving instructor. And then when you're ready to be assessed, you'll go to an assessment company, and that's your endpoint assessment. And that takes between 2 to 4 months, depending on your program as well.
Right. And I'm sure that many people who are watching this thinking about how can I get involved? What's the criteria? So is there an eligibility criteria people should be aware of when considering an apprenticeship?
Yes, definitely. In England, over the age of 16, employed and working a minimum of 16 hours per week. The nations, for example, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and Wales, slightly different criteria dependent on those nations. So we would look at on an individual basis each application to ensure that you hit the criteria based on the nation in which you're in.
Thank you. And I know we sort of touched on this, but just dig a little bit deeper. How does an apprenticeship work? How do apprentices do their learning during working hours without impacting the store, which is probably, I imagine, some of the concerns that would arise from people who are thinking about an apprenticeship. How do I do it?
So with Inspiro, you'll receive a dedicated trainer.
Right?
So the Inspiro trainer are industry qualified. They would have worked in managerial within retail and management, so they're able to impart that knowledge within their learning sessions. And what we do is we complete all your enrolment, and then we book visits every month. Visits last around 2 to 3 hours. They're pre-arranged with the manager's approval to make sure, obviously, operationally they are the right time. We don't really want to come at really busy times of operations because we understand that the store still needs to function. So there may be some times where we ask, when is it the quietest time for us to come in store? And if there's observations going on where we need to observe people doing the learners doing their job, we would ask for a really busy time so that we can capture as much of the holistic skills as we can with different type of customers and queries and things like that. So your trainer will guide what's needed per session before they arrive. During these reviews, work is set, learning's delivered, learning is assessed, feedback is given. The coach is there to guide, encourage, but also challenge and stretch to make sure that we are getting the best from each learner. We're showcasing their very best skills and knowledge. So the trainer is there to really enhance their confidence, to get them to think a little bit outside the box in regards to their role and their duties within the perfume shop. Learning's delivered, and then what we expect is then that learning is applied within the day-to-day role. So if they've learned about how to have a difficult conversation, if they're part of a leadership program, or lead with conciseness and lead with motivation, encouragement, then when they're out with their team, we'll encourage them to apply that learning. Think about how they're leading their team. Are they encouraging their team to achieve the targets and the operational requirements of that store? And then get them to reflect, how did that go? Did you need to think about changing your delivery? Just getting them to think and reflect back. The main thing is your manager would help to identify new tasks to help broaden your skill set, try and explain certain things that maybe you're not sure about. Maybe there's some regulations, compliance, maybe there's new stock coming, new brands that you need to have a little bit more product knowledge about. Your manager will support on how to identify those additional learning requirements that will help broaden your skill set. Your trainer will be on hand between sessions through WhatsApp, email, telephone call, and then the online platforms are there, then they can message within the online platform. So the coach will be there to guide should you have a query between the visits. But yeah, it's about having that learning and then applying it in a practical setting.
It sounds like a fantastic way to learn. So do learners do most of their learning utilizing the learning platform where they complete different modules and tasks and I'm assuming interactive learning activities? And is that then complemented by the trainer visits or the pre-arranged visits? Is that how it works in like very, very simple terms? Just so I
Yeah,
understand it.
yeah. So you'll have it'd be a structured visit where the trainer will deliver a set learning requirement and they'll have all the resources to deliver that learning. But what the trainer will then set is a research module or some work to do on the learning platform, to which then between visits the learner will go off and complete them
Right.
in preparation for the next visit. We recommend for them that if there is theory work, because most of it's practical, but there are some theory elements that it's little and often. So a quiet time where the manager might say, right, there's got a spare hour, you go and do your apprenticeship work. The store's quiet, there's a time for you to go in the back and sit and do your work. And that's what we recommend is little and often, because I think when you then save all your work to do in one big lump, it can have quite a big impact on the store operation. So it's about working with your line manager and when's the best time, and then the manager and the learner identify, right, I've got a little bit of apprenticeship work, I'm going to go and do that now while it's quiet, and then come back, maybe have a chat about it, and then obviously try and apply that to the practical element on the shop floor.
Sounds very good. And it's what it sounds like that they have to be a little bit agile to sort of fit it in where it fits. But
Yes.
I'm sure that there are loads of times where it does fit very, very well, and all it takes is a little bit of planning. Um,
Yeah.
Now, what makes this program a good fit for retail roles? Why would you recommend apprenticeships as a retail development option?
So the retail apprenticeships have been created by the retail sector. So they have been made and the assessment's been guided by the industry itself. So they are to meet what is required of the industry. And also there's a set standard. So if a learner that's doing, say, the level 4 retail manager was delivering it in a different retail setting, if they come to work within the perfume shop as a manager, okay, that's the standard in which they've already been proven with their achievement of their retail manager program. So it's a base standard of a retail qualification. It also means that anybody working at the set level which the standard they're completing, they have to achieve a set standard. The learning is flexible within retail. We know the retail calendar is up and down throughout the year, especially at Christmas. We understand that is the peak period, the golden quarter. So the retail standard and the delivery model of it allows it to be flexible around the peak calendar of the retail calendar. So it allows then for opportunities where maybe there's more practical learning required because operationally there is more customer footfall, to which then more off-job training, there's more customer queries, there's more stock demand. So from that then means that's more off-job training, there's more pull on your skill set because you're dealing with more customers on a regular basis. So it allows that flexibility.
Mm.
It's also important to understand that the busiest times allow you to plan the apprenticeship. So during, say, the golden quarter, you're going to focus, like I say, on the practical elements, but then you're going to cover a lot of the off-job training requirements because you're going to be recording all those skills that you've learned, all that knowledge of where you've had new products in, where a complex customer query's come in, where you've had to really pull on your resources to support that customer, has allowed you then to learn a little bit more of a process or a policy within the perfume shop. And being proactive with your learning, like we said earlier about planning little and often, allows you then to complete the apprenticeship at a more personalised rate, because then you know that personalised pace, should I say, so that you know the quieter periods you can get the theory work done and then really go in onto the practical element and learn all those practical skills.
Absolutely. And that very nicely leads on to my next question, because I imagine many of our store managers would be watching this and thinking about, so how can I support apprenticeships and apprentices in my own store? What support do managers need to give? And I know you briefly touched on around, flexibility on giving some time. Is there anything else that you would say that they need to consider?
Yeah, so managers to be invested in their learners that are on an apprenticeship, protect that learning time, but really have regular check-ins with them. There is no extra time required from the manager really to do it. It's part of their day-to-day role. It is when they're together with that learner, is how's your apprenticeship going? Is there any additional support you need? Or they might say, actually, I've got a task I'm doing you've not done before. I want you to come and shadow me with that task, so that then over a period of time they're able to do that responsibility, and it takes some pressure off the line manager. So it's having those regular check-ins, identifying opportunities for learning and protect that learning time. And if you can try and, as a manager, allow that learner that hour a week or a couple of hours a week to go and do their theory work, and then getting them to stretch them on the shop floor, stretch their skills, stretch their responsibilities, to really get them to apply that learning, will then, in the long run, give that manager a trusted, multi-skilled team member within their team that then they can rely on to delegate jobs to, or maybe that manager needs to go to another store, and so they know that that's their current store is still going to be run at a top standard because they've got somebody that that's gone through the apprenticeship and has been proven to work at the required level. So
Ab-
yeah, it's about just giving them that time.
Absolutely. And again, you touched on this very briefly, but what support do the learners get from you as the provider?
So they get a monthly meetings, which are structured and tailored to meet the needs of the apprentice, but also they're adapted. So it's not a one size fits all. We understand that certain learners require a little bit more time. They learn at different paces. So the delivery model is a guide. It's not a set pace. We may need to deliver more frequent visits. We may need to stretch the visits out depending on people's learning requirements, the pace they learn, if they've got any disabilities or any learning differences, which means that we have to just pull on some more resources to make sure the learning is still inclusive. They get access to Fuse, which is our online learner management system. It's where all the theory work is housed. They get 24-hour access to Fuse. It's also the messaging system where they can message their trainer in between visits if something they've stumbled up across. They can ask a question about it, and then the trainer will come back and support them as well. But the support they get is a wealth of experience as well. Their biggest resource is the trainer. So the trainers have over 5 years of experience in retail management. They operate in various retail settings with other learners, and they're able to bring all that knowledge in to help really stretch and challenge that learner, to then allow them to think outside the box, to apply those skills into the perfume shop, to then make them a better team member and a better manager.
That's lovely. Now, again, just thinking about the past and some of the questions that we've had from our perfume people when we talked about apprenticeships. What if someone struggles with English, maths, or perhaps their confidence?
So all the skills are assessed at the beginning through the enrolment process. Our systems we use are very clever systems and will identify if somebody has what we call an LDD, a learning difference or difficulty, which will then mean we will pull on our dedicated trainer learning tutors, and they are specially skilled tutors who will support anybody that's got dyspraxia, dyslexia, um, ADHD or anything like that, to make sure that then the learning we deliver is at the required pace and level, and the resources we use are conducive to that learner need. So at the very beginning, we try and establish that as soon as we start the learning, it's tailored to that individual learner's needs. As we progress through the programme, if the trainer feels actually more support's needed, they will arrange for additional support, whether that means they need more frequent visits from the trainer or they need one of our dedicated learning tutors to support and give additional learning, especially if it's maths and English. And we just set the pace, and we can adapt the visits, maybe more frequent, shorter visits, or we may do longer visits. It's flexible, not one size fits all. In England, the functional skill rules have changed slightly. So if the learner is 16 to 18, then they have to do maths and English. If they're 19 above, then they can opt in or opt out to do maths and English. But there's no pressure to pass the test at the end. So we're encouraging people to have a go, and then if they don't have to pass the test. In the devolved nations, they have their own rules on their key skills and essential skills, which is what they complete within the nation. Again, we can look on an individual basis within those nations, but we have a dedicated team that will be invested to make sure that we get as many learners to endpoint assessment and passed, and enjoy the process as they go along.
Of course. Could we talk a little bit more about the different levels, just so those who haven't really been exposed to the level 2, level 3, level 4, which is, I guess, from our store perspective, the most relevant apprenticeship levels. So with a level 2, what is a level 2 apprenticeship about, for example? Who is that most suited for out of your retail portfolio?
The retail level, it's called the level 2 retailer, is equivalent to GCSE equivalent level academically. It is ideal for those that are new to retail or
Right.
maybe require a little bit more development in customer service, stock control, quite haven't understood maybe the knowledge and the rationale behind why the perfume shop does what processes are. So it's somebody who maybe lacks a little bit of confidence, a little bit of skill, or new to retail. So it's a really nice introduction. It's also great for somebody who hasn't been in education for a long time, a bit nervous coming back into formal studying. It's a great introduction, but it doesn't mean you have to start at a level 2. If you are a team leader within a store, you don't have to do a level 2. You can go in at the level 3. And the level 3 team leader, and we do one that's a business set and a retail set. So we would guide you to the retail because it's all retail context.
Yes.
And with the level 3 team leader, it's those that are first line leaders, new to management, those that maybe lack a little bit of confidence in how to lead a team, have difficult conversations, motivate and engage a team. It gives you all those skills. But what I like about the team leader is you get to learn what type of leader you are as a person. And then once you know what type of learner you are, you're then able to lead with confidence because you're then able to adapt to different team members and understand what motivates and is engaging for them. So the level 3 is equivalent to A levels and it's a lovely introduction. We cater it to retail with our retail trainers delivering that program, which allows us to give the team leader context and examples and learning that comes from a retail setting rather than an office setting, because we understand that retail comes with its own unique challenges. We have to give the context from retail. So it's a really nice one. And then we've got the level 4 retail manager, which is one of the start of the higher level apprenticeships. It's equivalent to a HNC or first year at university, so it's quite a big program. It's got a length program of 14 months, so that's one of the bigger ones. And that looks at management at more of a strategic level, look at being like a retail commercially, looking at the wider business. How is your store supporting the whole umbrella of the perfume shop and where you sit within your sector of being a fragrance store. So it's understanding that and your competitiveness within the retail sector. You can look at budgets. So this is really nice for store managers, those that maybe have been with the store quite a while as a team member, a team leader, that have been well established and want to be a store manager, and I've got exposure to the responsibilities in which you require within the level 4. Or regional managers that require just a little bit more guidance in regards to how to be, a manager. So we look at what the job role is, the apprenticeship that's desired, and whether that is the right person on the right program. And that's the most important thing, is getting the right person on the right program. The apprenticeships are not for everyone. And there is no commitment to express an interest in an apprenticeship. And the trainers are very honest on what's required. The apprenticeships aren't easy, but they're not meant to be. And if they were, the achievement wouldn't be
Of
rewarding.
course.
So they are challenging. But a lot of people at the end, the main thing is confidence. That is, when I've done success stories and I've gone out and had interviews with learners, the main thing they say is the apprenticeship has given me confidence to do my job better. And I've been able to support the wider business, whether that is training another colleague in the business or supporting a manager while they've gone to another store. I've been able to look after the store, and I've got the confidence to do that. And that is priceless for an apprenticeship. You can
Absolutely.
learn the skill, but to have the confidence to believe you can do what you could at an amazing level, then it's priceless. So, yeah, we're here to support. And if the journey is right, we will support you through it.
That sounds really wonderful, actually. And just so I understand, just to clarify, I understood well what you said. So, for example, I don't need to be a store manager to be able to do a level 4. I could be a well-established team leader that is, I'm looking to develop myself and stretch myself, and I can shadow my store manager, for example, so I know I can get exposure. I could technically apply, and same goes for all the other levels.
Yeah, so as long as if you are looking at, if you want to do a leadership role, you've got to have some sort of leadership responsibility. If you are a duty manager or a team leader within your store and you're looking at the level 4, then we will work with your line manager and say, well, this candidate would need to have exposure to X, Y, and Z to
Right.
allow them to do that program. What we don't want to do is set anybody up to fail.
Of course.
So we would have very much an honest conversation, and that's where the line manager's investment is key, is to ensure that we have got the right fit, the right program for the right learner. And if it is that the level 4 is a bit too much of a stretch, we'll recommend the level 3 with an option then as a long-term goal to push them onto the level 4. And then with that, you've got a level 3 and a level 4 under your belt. But we will work close. And if it is a great fit, amazing, and that person gets to obviously get all the skills in that. But the key is the learner and the line manager all working together to make sure that it's right for that person and the store as well.
Absolutely. Well, if listening to this makes you want to apply, or at least express an interest in applying, all you have to do from our perspective at the perfume shop is to speak with your line manager, and of course, discuss all of the things that Amy just shared around what it would entail and what you're hoping to learn, and all of that. And once you have discussed it, you can submit an expression of interest form, for which we're going to pop the QR code on the screen in a moment, or simply email anyone in the learning and development team. We'll also pop the contact email on there, and we'll reach out to you with more details to start those initial discussions around finding the right level for you, as Amy just said, to make sure that you're matched exactly with what you need. Now, before we wrap up, Amy, is there anything else you'd like to add on? Do you have any top tips for anyone who's considering an apprenticeship? What's your advice?
Apply, express your interest. Express your interest, and we will work with you. But enjoy it. It can be life-changing, believe it or not. So yeah, and we'll be with you all the way through. But yeah, just express an interest.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today. It was lovely chatting to you. And thank you everyone for listening. We hope you found this interesting. And if you are considering an apprenticeship, as Amy said, apply. Thank you everyone. Until next time. Bye.